Welcome, beloved beings of light. I say you are beings of light because each of us being descendant from Creator Source, God, Goddess, Absolute. And it's time that we be in full acknowledgement of ourselves, of who we truly are. I am Astarius Miraculii, and welcome to Ascension Live. And today's subject for Ascension Live is stillness in slow motion. Stillness in slow motion. Some negative names for stillness in slow motion is quarantine, lockdown, and all of those different terms that relate to restriction. But I think the more exalted reality and intention of the initiation that we're in the world is stillness in slow motion. We're in the sacred pause, that sacred place of waiting for full clarity about what's the next step, what's the next adventure, what's the next solution, and what is the next strategy. Stillness in slow motion. We're not in limbo, and we're not between a rock and a hard place. Even though if we choose to see it with negative eyes, then we can be in the experience of limbo, between a rock and a hard place, fighting, with the situation. We want to stand forth to intend that the situation become a catalyst for our empowerment. And if we intend that with the intending power of God, Goddess Almighty that moves through us, then we will absolutely be successful in our intending. Some of you may have saw the live that I did on Instagram on Friday, and I shared what appeared to be some misinformation with regards to the length of the days. Like I spoke of solstice as being, equal days and equal nights, when in actuality it's equinox. And as a longtime astrologer, I absolutely know that. But I feel that I was associating summer solstice with the equality of days and nights based upon the fact that I wanted to really bring forth the message of being in the equality of appreciation. We're in our greatest empowerment when we are in the equality of appreciation for the light and appreciation for the darkness. Now notice I said appreciation and not preferring. See, we don't have to prefer the darkness. We don't have to prefer the pain, the discord, the difficulty, but when we're faced with it, then wisdom and empowerment for us is being able to appreciate it. And when we look at this, the other definition of appreciation, one definition is where, okay, we appreciate something, we have a gratitude for it. But then another definition of appreciation is like when something appreciates in value, like a house appreciates in value and then one is able to sell that house for more money than they actually purchased it for, because there's an appreciation of value. See, so when we appreciate something, we're sending forth a frequency that is going to up-level the value of that. Just like the soil appreciated the fertilizer, and the fertilizer's glorified waste. But the soil appreciated the fertilizer by way of being in the sacred alchemy, and then yielded a richer crop, not in spite of that waste, but because of that waste. So when we're able to be in the appreciation for even the trials that we are facing, then we up-level the value of those trials, or you might say that we even pierce to the center of those trials. Go to the center of trials and tribulations and you'll find pure light. Go to the center of pain, you'll find pure light. Go to the center of fear, of worry, you'll find pure light. Because light, or the center that is the domain of light, the domain of God, of deity, of that greater exaltation of beingness that we all are. We want to go to the center of the pandemic, to the center of this COVID-19 virus, because all adversities of life, all negatives of life, all illnesses of life can never be nothing beyond the surface. Can't be the center. Light is only the center of everything. You hear me saying a lot that we are meant to be empowered by everything. And to be empowered by everything, we have to up-level our appreciation, to therefore up-level the value of whatever it is that we're faced with. You see, up-leveling the value of something is also likened to learning the full lesson that that something has to teach. If there's difficulty in our lives, as soon as we learn everything that that difficult situation is having to teach, then it outlives its usefulness, moves out of the way, makes room for something else that is more wonderful. In the stillness and slow motion, the sacred pause, there is this great emergence of wisdom. Just like when we're speaking and we have the presence of mind and heart to have moments when we slow down the cadence of our speaking, and then we have more spaces between the words. Those spaces between the words also represent the stillness in slow motion. You see, and from that stillness in slow motion emanates greater wisdom, greater communication. You know, communication that the words themselves may not be able to convey. But the silence can convey. Silence speaks very loudly. Sometimes silence speaks louder than all else. And the resonance is stillness in slow motion, because in truth, nothing is ever really stagnant and without any movement at all. It can appear to be still without movement. But just as the universe is in a perpetual state of expansion, so it is that each moment is in a perpetual state of expansion. You know, stillness in slow motion. So if you've been experiencing quarantine, or what some call lockdown, call it stillness in slow motion. The sacred pause, the sacred soul retreat. You know, we're in this eclipse cycle. The eclipses, as well as the Mercury retrograde experiences, also bring the resonance of stillness in slow motion. You know, when Mercury, for example, is retrograde, Mercury, which represents the outer mind, and the outer mind slows down. And when the outer mind slows down, inner consciousness accelerates. Stillness in slow motion, you know, to levitate. You know, where when one gains that power to just lift the body up and levitate it, you know, well, hummingbirds already do it. When the hummingbird levitates in place, that's stillness in slow motion. You know, the hummingbird is a great totem to tune in with, to become more aligned with the stillness in slow motion. Because the wings are going so fast, and yet they're hovering right in place, levitating, stillness in slow motion. Let's call forth the totem of the hummingbird and have the hummingbird to overshadow the challenges that we are experiencing within the world, and then to levitate and carry all of those trials, tribulations, and difficulties, and viruses, and whatever, and lift them right up into the heart of God, the heart of Creator, the heart of Source, to bring about that sacred purification. Everything that Source touches will come to purity, will come to light, will come to exaltation. Stillness in slow motion. The sacred pause. Let go of any urgency for things to hurry up and be any different. Yes, we all want to have the solution, and we don't want to wait a long time for it. But meanwhile, while we are in the sacred pause, let us exalt our appreciation. See, uncertainty is stillness in slow motion. We all have a triple helping of uncertainty on our plate right now. We don't have certainty about what's unfolding into our near future. It's kind of up in the air. Of course, there can be, and there is certainly for me, a certainty that we will get to the other side of this, a certainty that we will be even stronger when we get to the other side of it. And I definitely lay my head in the lap of the certainty that I am eternal being. And you are eternal being. Never will you cease to be. And never will I cease to be, and never will anything that is truly an authentic extension of Creator Almighty cease to be. So there's no virus, no dis-ease, no treachery, no hatred, no negativity that can ever outdistance one of us. Not one of us. Because we are co-eternal with God. Let us remember who we are and find comfort in that. And in that alignment in consciousness, we come into this resonance with the universe. And the universe partners with us. And the universe then begins to bring in all of the ingredients necessary to facilitate that reality of that truth of intention that we're holding. We are empowered by everything. Hear ye, O seeker, play not a game of chance. Maintain a lofty attitude to conquer lowly circumstance. Some circumstances seem so bad, though goodness in disguise. It's up to you to see the good or else be victimized. For if a circumstance seems down, and we reject it with a frown, that circumstances then compel pull us down in mental hell. But if we keep our mind on high, our gaze on high, despite the pain of circumstance, up with our attitude, the circumstance rises, and beyond its pain, we then advance. Bitter circumstance is as a medicine to bring the wellness of a learned lesson. But we must swallow this medicine down to receive the healing and achieve the blessing. For if we spit this medicine out, life gives another dose without a doubt. Then we become victim of circumstance, a tyrant from which we can't advance until we learn to face it with a smile, drink that bitter cup, and go the extra mile, so that all things may be enhanced, because your attitude is more important than circumstance. We thank you, Divine Creator, for being that divine resonance of life force and identity within the central core of our being. We thank you, beloved Creator, for bringing us home to the awareness of our divinity, to the awareness of our strength, to the awareness of our love and our wisdom and our power. Thank you, Divine Creator, for bringing us to the awareness that we are empowered by everything, that everything is meant to be servant unto us. All things work together for good for them that love God, to them that are called according to his purpose. Thank you, beloved Creator, for giving us the presence of mind and heart to love on each other and to believe in the possibility of redemption for even the worst of us, in the recognition that the lowest scoundrel, the lowest devil, can't go lower than the lowest, that each one of us are capable of, even though we may out of wisdom not choose to stoop that low, but we could, but by the grace of Creator Source. So, Divine Creator, let us humble ourselves and not feel a sense of false pride that we are better than those who have stooped very low. Let us recognize that that's the part of us that has stumbled and fallen. So let us hold that vision of redemption for them, to lift them up. Let us hold the vision of redemption for the recklessness of our world governments and the immaturity that exists within governmental heads. Let us believe in the possibility of them rising up and being better. Let us see that vision. Let us make that deposit within the soul bank of life so that it can accumulate interest until such time that those power figures will begin to make those withdrawals and then begin to exemplify a greater benevolent expression of behavior, truly having the back of the world. Thank you, Divine Creator, for giving us the presence of mind and heart to know that we are worthy of a better world. And thank you, Divine Creator, for giving us the presence of mind and heart to not wait for the manifestation of the better world, to even recognize the stillness and slow motion that represents the intangible realities that are intangible embryos in the womb of life, not yet born into manifestation, and yet life just the same. First stage of reality, which is formless. Let us up-level. Thank you, Divine Creator, that we are up-leveling our appreciation for the formless blessings of life. And in that appreciation, we then accelerate the vibration of that which is formless until it morphs into form. And we have the manifestation of our solution to the world crisis. We have the manifestation of our brotherhood and sisterhood and our benevolent attitudes toward each other. We have the manifestation of our omnipresent expression of love, our omnipresent expression of peace, our omnipresent expression of bliss and joy and ecstasy. We come home to ourselves. We know that all is well in the kingdom of our world. We hold that higher vision that sees that reality. see what is needed, so our prayer will be heeded. We see it as though we've already succeeded. We have faith in advance, and good is left not up to chance. For if faith be postdated, our blessings are belated, and when our good we detain, the whole world bears the strain. We invoke the spirit of fire, and we purge the enemy of our desire, thus making the wise decision to maximize our vision. What we see is what we get. We will see it when we first believe it. The believing gives birth to the seeing and the manifestation of the seeing. We believe it, and then we see it. This tone, beloved, is given for the activation of the totality of the ascension frequency within your being, the absoluteness of your God beingness. Ride the wings of this tone and intend with me the affirmation of the upleveling of our ascension ad infinitum. Om the Ascension, who you are as Ascended Master. We pre-memorate the reality of that exalted future of yours and mine and bring it into the now-memoration of this moment. We dance in the resonance of our ascended masterhood. And the next tone that I offer is for the omnipresent affirmation of the frequency of love, to bathe our planet in the frequency of love, to bathe and shower every being on the planet in the frequency of love, every animal, every plant, every angel, every ascended master. Lastly, I bring the didgeridoo, and the didgeridoo for the multiplication of abundance. Even though the economy for many, or for the world actually, has slowed down a lot. You know, the economy is not the same strength as we've known it at other times, and certainly not in this now moment, the strength that it's going to be. And yet, because every time is now, we can bring about this multiplication of the spirit of abundance, and to bring it into the harmonic convergence of this now moment. Because when we look at abundance, first and foremost, it's the emotional mileage of abundance. That's where the mileage is at. It's in the emotional responsiveness to the abundance. Material abundance without exalted, passionate response to it is actually dead. And so it's not really the concrete abundance that is the big kahuna. It's the passion and the joy that is the resonance in response to the manifestation. But the passion and the joy can also be the predecessor of the manifestation, and that which initiates the manifestation. And that's what we're going to do now, is come into harmonic convergence with the emotional mileage of abundance. Just passionately feel the joy of being a billionaire of being, as I offer the didgeridoo, and let's rise up in this vibration. And then I offer you the frequency of money formula. Money formula from my album Spirit Rap as a further affirmation of this abundance. Money, money, crystallized, stream right now into my hand. Golden sun within me rise, let abundance take a stand. I allow the manifestation, big financial compensation, great success, come along, sing with me prosperity song. I am filled with inspiration, gold now feels my situation. With my heart I thank you, Lord, all I want I can afford. Let it not only be for me, let all the world be rich and free. Let love and peace and truth abound in my life, the world around. In my hands be ceaseless action, bringing wealth and satisfaction. With God vision and reflection, see my money's resurrection. Blessings here and all about, courage, faith, and wisdom sprout. Gold for me is everywhere, and with all I ever share. Let good fortune go before me, right beside me and behind me. All with money now adore me, with gold and emeralds they adorn me. Here's the vision I now see, my love has brought reality. Oh yes, it does exist for me. The angels have now set me free. Money, money, crystallized, stream right now into my hands. Golden sun within me rise, let abundance take a stand. I allow the manifestation, big financial compensation, great success, come along, sing with me prosperity song. I am filled with inspiration, gold now feels my situation. With my heart I thank you, Lord, all I want I can afford. Let it not only be for me, let all the world be rich and free. Let love and peace and truth abound in my life, the world around. In my hands be ceaseless action, bringing wealth and satisfaction. With God vision and reflection, see my money's resurrection. Blessings here and all about, courage, faith, and wisdom sprout. Gold for me is everywhere, and with all I ever share. Let good fortune go before me, right beside me and behind me. All with money now adore me, with gold and emeralds they adorn me. Here's the vision I now see, my love has brought reality. Oh yes, it does exist for me. The angels have now set me free. Oh, Ashe, Amen, Namaste. Hotepen Lakesha Lakin Shalom. Satnam Hariom Rastafari. My sacred juices are cooked in infinitely expanding juice Tafari, bliss Tafari. Gonna always have many miles on my smile, wiggle in my giggle, tingling in my boots, laughter ever after, put in my strut, wings on my butt, always rising up at the top. There's room for all, it's just the bottom. It's crowded, y'all, and so it is, and so it shall eternally be. So thank you, beloveds, for sharing sacred space with me in Ascension Live. Ascension Live is given every Monday on Facebook at 6 p.m. Pacific Time. It's given every Friday at 6 p.m. Pacific Time on Instagram. And be sure and offer your comments. I'd love to know how this is landing for you, and I'd love for other people to experience the way that things have landed for you, because sometimes that becomes a blessing for them as well. I always read everything after the fact. When I'm in the flow of things, the transmission, I don't try to read everything because it becomes a distraction for me. But I do read everything after the fact and certainly send you some love. Be sure and visit my website, Astarius.com. And I have a great number of musical albums and a couple of books there. And I thank you for playing in the field of win-win. And if it pleases your heart, purchasing some of my creations that are over there. And also, I am available for intuitive astrological readings as well as sound healing transmissions with didgeridoo and vocal harmonics. And it really gives my heart something extra to throb about when I have the opportunity to be on one-on-one with you and to support your empowerment and your expansion in that way. And so many of you have come and experienced my work in that way. And thank all of you who've done that. I appreciate you so much. And I appreciate love all of you who are going to come in later and do so. Also, I do graciously receive donations by way of PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, and also there is a donation button on my website. And so thank you so much for being here. Also, check out all the platforms of YouTube, Instagram, as well as Facebook. I have more than 650 videos across those platforms, and I've touched a lot of people. I've been very, very blessed, and I feel so much gratitude that I'm more than 2.7 million views there. So I just keep putting it out to do everything that I can do to up-level the frequency of each and every one of us as well as our world. Oh my goddess. I love you so much. Oh, if you knew how much I'm loving you, you'd be dancing all around. That's the truth. Be sweet to yourself.